Fofo long. Fofo long. That man is the big 44. Happy belated birthday to the best point guard in the media world to this day. I will argue with it. I will fight you for it. I will put money up. He is the best media point guard in history of point guards. And we got him on the show. And we just want to explain to you and show you our appreciation to all the things that you do, because there's a lot of points you be wanting to make sometimes, and we always talking and shit. And you got to be able to be the one that just let us go. But it's gonna be about you today. And on this show and tell, man, just want to make sure that you have a blessed 44th. And you my brother for life, and I love you, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. 44, time definitely flies. You never think as a kid, you like 44. The 44 is old people. But nah, man, I'm blessed, man. Thank you for the birthday salutations. We've all kind of come together. Me and MJ came together at the 9 to 5 9 years ago. Sheesh. Germ is somebody I've gotten to really know over the last 2 years. Ham, Trav, who maybe join us later over the last 5. So man, it's like brotherhood is overused, community is overused, but that's what it is here at 94 PLI. So thank y'all for the shouts, man. And today, man, basketball show and tell. This is a weird time of year for me, Germ. I'm gonna bring you into the conversation. Usually, this is playoff weekend. Usually, this would have been the first week, the first weekend of the playoffs, but obviously, due to the pandemic and the schedule getting pushed back, we still got another month of regular season basketball to go. So, what we're gonna talk about today, I'm gonna let Germ kick off this proceed. It's my birthday, but as MJ said, I'm the point guard, so I get to make the decision. I'm gonna let Germ kick this off today. Basketball show and tell, man. Just things that you have found interesting over the game recently, the last couple of weeks. We're just gonna bring it to the table and kind of bat it around. This is Friday fun. It's casual. Nothing's too serious. So, Germ, go ahead, man.
So, as y'all see, again, man, happy birthday, bro. Just happy birthday to my guy, man. That's my guy right there. Anytime you want to, if you ever need a motivational speech, this man is the one to give it to you.
Best point guard in the world, man.
So, with that being said, I mean, as y'all see, today is Germ. So what? I gotta be honest with y'all. I have been in a 48-hour cocoon trying to get ready for the petty draft. Shouts out to Views 2022. But I've also been doing some things with figuring out, as we seen Steph and the Warriors have a 50-point third quarter a couple of nights ago. It was crazy. It was bananas, whatever. That had me to thinking. I was like, I know this ain't the first time this cat has been a part of a 50-point quarter. I just know it's not. So I go, and then, because, games that come to mind is he's had some crazy games in itself. Yeah. But then we still got the Clay scored 37 in a quarter, and I don't even think they scored 50 in that quarter, which was ironic when you go look at it. Right. But then they had the quarter in 2019 with KD on the team where they scored 51 in the first quarter, which is still a record because it's the highest score in first quarter in NBA history. So I get to looking at all of the quarters and all of the different things that we see, and I'm trying to find trends and stuff like that. Me and Ham was up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to talk about this, but it was, this is what you need. This is what your brotherhood is for. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else don't care about this. But I just find it so interesting that the pace of the game was so different in so many different times. Yeah. Like the 80s was faster paced, but then the 90s completely slowed it down for like 2 decades. Yeah. Literally 2 decades just completely slowed it down because we only had one 50-point quarter, I believe, from 2000 to 2010, if I'm correct from my notes. So I just thought it was really interesting the pace. We're seeing more Oscars these days than we have seen coming from the 90s, where a lot of that's the basketball era, and everything else like that. And I did that in quotations. But fellas, I just want to bring to the table, as much as we talk about Steph and what his impact is to the game, and the changing the geography of the court, as MJ has said so eloquently for years. I just don't know, like, how do you not like a player
Oh boy.
that just does everything that you need to win? You see him screening, you see him making the right passes, making the right decisions, even when he makes mistakes, like he did in the finals in the boxing one situation with Toronto. He even fails eloquently. So it's just like, how do you not like this dude? Like, MJ, I'm gonna pass it to you, man. How do you not like this dude?
You gonna let me go first?
Yeah.
It's very simple why they don't like the dude. They don't like the dude because they wish they had his attention that he's getting. They wish they get the accolades that he was getting. Most people who played this game or did anything in their life has never even came close to the excellence that Steph Curry has come to. Hence the reason why, in order for them to receive the same love that Steph is receiving, they have to go complete heel turn and be the person that said, fuck Steph or fuck LeBron or fuck all of these dudes. And eventually they find a bunch of haters who, join together and be able to, just rally around that. And that hate fuels their love and attention. Because as long as you're able to be a troll, you're going to get attention for being a troll. There's just certain things that you can say that will trigger any normal human being to want to rebuttal it. You said things like about Steph, like, he'll play defense or he's not a winner. Like, these things you can't help but rebuttal it if you have been watching the game. You can't help rebuttal all of these great players. Once you get to greatness, you're going to always have your two people. Three people, I'm sorry. You have the people who are overly involved in a good way. We call those stands. You're going to have the people who completely hate them for no real legitimate reason. We call those trolls. And then you got everybody else in between. So here in 94 Feet, we try to stay in the middle. But, from a realistic standpoint, the way I studied the game from a psychology standpoint, from a number standpoint, from an evolution standpoint, all three of these things, if you look at Steph Curry, he hits every bell. It's nothing really for me to hate on him about. It's nothing. So I'm going to swing this over the big shot.
I think the issue with Steph Curry, in particular, everything that y'all saying is point. I think it's the constant generational argument that's sports, right? Steph Curry breaks the Warriors' all-time leading record for points. The next day, right on schedule, here came the Wilt memes. Right on schedule. Well, Wilt did it in 300 less games, and there wasn't a three-point line. First of all, like, Wilt Chamberlain was ever going to shoot a three-pointer, but that's a whole nother issue. I just think it's just the continuation of just generational arguments, and it's also basketball insecurity. Like, nobody wants to ever say that the era I played in or the era I watched wasn't the greatest ever. So we'll find things to hate on. And also with Steph too, MJ, talk about the psychology of it. Nobody likes the kid that had it.
I was going to talk about that too. Him and Drake are like literally go hand in hand when it comes to parallels.
And Steph is worse. And Steph is worse than Drake because Steph got the two-parent home, nice schools, the nice family. He seems from everything we know to be a really decent individual, the lovely wife, the lovely kids. And he's a hell of a gangster.
His real name's Clarence.
And he's a hell of a basketball player. So he's got the unbelievable upbringing, the NBA father. He's got everything that I ain't gonna say people want, but if you said, man, you could have a really great childhood into adulthood, that's him. Yeah. I think there's a faction of people, and we, as much as we joke about the light skin thing, that is absolutely legitimate.
Yeah. And
absolutely legitimate.
It is, but go ahead.
Go ahead. So he's the kid, he's the nice guy who has it all.
And won.
And for a lot of folks, they just can't accept
because it goes against everything that they ever lived by. Nice guys finish last. Back in the 90s, if you was a nice guy and you had skill, it'll be some random dude will try to punk you and, get in your head because they're allowed to, hit you, throw the ball at you, do all of these other things that quote unquote gets in your head that is really not basketball at all if you look at it from the grand scheme of things. But our era was a little bit tougher. So I wouldn't say different. I wouldn't see better or worse. It was just different things going on in that era. And, the one thing that we're not taking a sight on more along the lines of this is, yes, he has all of that, but that motherfucker put the work in. He put in the work to be that great. The dude does not have a physical attribute that you can be able to brag about. I've seen guys in the cubicle taller than Steph Curry. I've seen guys in the fitness center faster than Steph Curry. I've seen some guys who can shoot, not like Steph Curry, but they can shoot.
Look, we can go to LA Fitness tonight, and I can find you 10 better athletes than Steph Curry.
In theory. So it's like the fact that he is terrorizing this league off of just skill. It's hard for people to sit on. And to be honest with you, that's a lot of the reasons why they troll other guys who do it the same way. You gotta think, everybody who got love from the skill element always got trolled. Have you noticed that? Let me name it for you. Dirk Nowitzki, KD, Kyrie Irving. If it was just skill, take the athleticism away, because none of them, Tim Duncan. Like, these dudes constantly get forgotten about because they just play the game pretty much with just skill.
Yeah.
Which is the way you're supposed to play the shoot. Steve Nash. People can't stand Steve Nash. They can't stand him.
Can't.
If you don't have a superhuman attribute that should put you as an Avengers action figure, you're not respected in this game, which is crazy to me. So I'm gonna swing this back over to Jerm. You ending comments, or you got something else for him, Ron?
No, I'm gonna give it back to Jerm because I think that's to what Jerm is talking about. I think that's it. I think that's all of it lined up. That's it.
Look, y'all. I just don't understand. I'm watching this dude. He was here at the crib last night. He was in Cleveland. Man, I seen him 2 consecutive trips down the court hit just incredible shots. I'm just looking like, what do you want me to be mad at? Like, what is there to be mad at that this dude is just good?
Yeah.
And then this is another thing. The man is shooting 43% from 3 this year. Somebody says that's not even one of the that's the 8th best season all time. I said, but do y'all understand the volume of which he is shooting this
from? He's seeing every day. He got one dude that literally is not an offensive factor.
That's the thing that Ham has said for 5 years is that yes, it's the percentages, but it's the volume with the percentage. This is not somebody taking 4 threes a night, taking 11.
Man, this man was 11 for 16 from the 3 in a game in which he only played 29 minutes. He had 42. Steph had 42, 8, and 6 in 29 minutes.
For my money, and I know we are not big on GOAT conversations and To me, he is the greatest 6'3" and under offensive player I have ever seen.
And then he got the nerve to be in a league, and this is the funniest part about this whole discussion. And he has the nerve to be in a league with 2 other dudes who do it just like him or in the similar ways to him.
Who are close.
It's just he's just that good when it comes to doing all the small things.
Boom.
It's the small things that equate to the bigger picture when it comes to Steph Curry.
Boom.
Period.
Because I'm not going to say that the other 2 guys that let's just go ahead and call them by name, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say that those guys don't possess intangibles as well. Both of those guys, I think, are pretty solid leaders. I think the unselfishness with Curry, though, like he literally sacrificed. You got to think he pretty much made Under Armour who they are from a shoe company, right? And he brought in Kevin Durant, who he knew was going to affect his shoe sales because Kevin Durant's with Nike. He brought him in just because he was like, I don't care about none of that. I just want to win. I don't know too many people who's moving that way. And he deserves it. So all of that he deserves. So, shouts out to him. And there's a lot of other players that have made those sacrifices as well that should be noted. But once again, just putting it all in all, our generation for the most part, for the ones that, grew up tough or whatever, they can't stand to see, sports or culture in a lot of times be taken over by the suburban guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's the real problem. The suburban, that's it. The suburban guy is doing your culture better than the ones in the hood.
He got street credit with soccer moms.
Yeah. That's
I think it's also the main reason why everyone revered AI so much too. AI was a great basketball player, but we revered him because we felt like that was our older cousin who used to kill us in street ball that we used to go watch and pick up, making it to the league. And he didn't switch up for nobody. He still got the big T-shirt on. He still wearing the do-rags. Like, we felt that. We in the league. We made it. Well, a lot of people. I'm speaking on behalf of, the culture that was what it was. So, and then now it just became complete opposite, like I stated.
There's a psychology certainly to it. But he this year at 33, which is another crazy part, the fact that he's now 33. It's not he ain't been here that long, but he's 33. And he's got this Warriors team. I thought, and we saw Christmas Day how he looked against Brett. I looked at that team Christmas Day and I said, man, there is no way. There is no way they are anywhere near the playoffs. And he has, as Jay Ham calls it, comic book BS. But this comic book BS has got them into the play. So I respect what he's doing, man. And I think he's somebody I think will be much, unfortunately, it's gonna be a section of people that are gonna realize how great he was after he's gone.
Of course.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
Well, we used to it at this stage.
Yeah, I just let people live at this point. And I know 6-7 years from now they're gonna be posting saying, yeah, he was the greatest shooter I ever seen. Just what it is.
Yeah, welcome. Congratulations. Welcome to the party.
Right.
So, show and tell, MJ. I know you had something you want to bring in. What did you add today?
Yeah. So, I actually will stay with the theme of Germ. For the most part, what I actually got a call from another job. Don't worry about that. But for the most part, I want to talk about how this game is an art. Because I've said this prior to it, and no, I'm not copying off Kyrie. I said this plenty of times prior. But I want to talk more along the lines of guys like Steph, these guys talked about breaking the rules or whatever, who has found a way to paint their own masterpiece, even if it involves coloring outside the lines a little bit or breaking the proverbial rules that art give you. And one of the things that I'm looking at nowadays in AAU basketball and high school level basketball is because of Steph, everybody that's under 6'3" feels like they have to shoot from 33 to average 40 points a game, which actually is the furthest from the truth. And I know we got Les on here in the background. I don't know if he's going to speak on this or whatever, but I'm not going to put him on the spot. But in all actuality, in the NBA, you probably don't see too many like true point guards. But please believe the true point guard position is alive and well. If you do not believe me, just look at that NCAA tournament we just witnessed. Final 4 teams all had a true point guard. Elite 8, I think it was about 6 out of 8 of them had a true point guard. A true one a floor general that can run their offense, that can, get after it on defense, that can make a play when need be, had IQ. Let's not allow certain things that we see on the surface level or certain rule breakers or certain artists paint the picture of the entire game. when it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
So, with that, I'm going to ask you guys a simple question. What players that you see now in the NBA that could possibly change the game back to their position being like position friendly? So I'll give you an example. If Jokic win, I think centers will start being a focal point in drafting, and people will start looking for more traditional big man that hopefully has passing ability. What are some of your thoughts on that? We'll start with Big Shot.
I think like this, we're in a pretty steep cycle of that. But I will tell you, I think it's not that it's going to be the death of the big man. I think what we have to kind of get involved is that what we see as a big man is different. It's in a different stage. I think 7-footers are still very much valuable. Rim protection will still be valuable because, it's an Autobahn down the middle of the lane in 2021. Rim protection will be valuable. 7 foot, I think we have to get used to is that your 7-footer is just not going to be planted on the box anymore.
Right.
I think low post play will still be there, but your 7-footer now just has to be mobile. He's got to have feet. He's got to have hands. He just can't, you just can't have Mark Eatons and people like that. So I think the 7-footer size will always be a part of this. Will always be a problem. I just think we have to kind of shift our definition as to what is a true. I don't think there's no true centers anymore. I think what you ask your center to do is different, but that size, that'll never go out of style. Not in this game, ever.
Absolutely. And I'm going to swing this over to Germ, but let me point this out as well. It's amazing how the game is connected, right? So let's look at a team like the Philadelphia 76ers who have a big man who I think could be a game-changing big if he ever wins, in Joel Embiid. Look at how it affects everything else as far as the flow goes. Because you have Joel Embiid in that paint majority of the time, now your wing has to be a mid-range scorer and not just a stretch three because he's occupying the paint, so he can't get to the basket because the big is there already. Mm-hmm. But where it works out is a guy like Doc Rivers, who is extremely a genius at this game, he noticed that, and he remembered how he used Tobias Harris in the Clippers, in which he let him be that mid-range guy. And it turns out, while everybody was saying, well, they need to trade Tobias or they need to get somebody to complement Embiid, it turned out they had it all the whole time. He just was used incorrectly.
Yeah.
And then, carrying over to that, because you have a big, usually when you have a big, your point guard could be true point guard. Rondo won that title because he had KG as a true big. So he was able, even though they still ran pick and roll, he was able to be on the top of the key, tell guys where to go, because he had time to do it. Because if you pressure too much, I could just throw it into this big and he gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So now you got to sag a little bit to be able to be ready to help out on that pass that you throw to the big, which means now you get your point guard opportunity to point where you want your shooters going to, where you want your movement going to, and now you can run true point guard. Well, who am I talking about? I'm talking about Ben Simmons. The same guy y'all hate. He can run true point guard now because of the big. So you see how everything is connected? Whereas a team that didn't have a true big at first, like Golden State, didn't have the traditional big, now everybody has to do different things. Now that wing either shoot a three or get to the basket. Now you're big. Okay, make sure you're just setting hard screens for him. When you get the ball away from the basket and be a guy that could be able to create with your passing, create with your dribble handoffs, and bring that big out. And that's going to allow our best player, which happens to be a shooter and a scorer, to be able to either pick your poison, he hit a contested long three, or if you get too close, the paint is open for him to go all the way to the basket. So, Jerm, go ahead and chime in on that. I'm sorry, I said a lot, but I got excited.
Well, no. That's perfect. Well, I'm gonna ask this question. Remember when the thing in the NBA draft used to be, well, we want a long wing guy with that was extremely gifted with lateral movement and had a great leaping ability.
Yeah.
That was prototype of, i.e. LeBron James, 2003, that type of thing. Okay. Then we had 90s around in that time frame. It was the big guard situation, which is you see your Ray Allens, 96. Just look at 96 in itself. 96, it
Because
was
of
how
Jordan.
many exactly?
Jordan and Pippen.
Jordan Pippen, those wing players. So, and that stems from there. So then we look at the taller point guards, Mark Jackson, and those type of things, Magic Johnsons, everything else. All of this stuff is connected. It happens every decade, and it's going to continue to happen. Hell, Dame, Steph, Kyrie, all of them in the same vicinity when it comes down to this.
Which goes back to the beautiful thing about this game and why I call it art, because all of it works in harmony. Whoever your best player is going to determine how you play.
It's that simple.
And it's always been that way. The problem was guys who used to shoot jumpers or point guards usually didn't have the pieces that they needed, with the exception of Isaiah Thomas. Because if you're a point guard, you need depth, you need versatile bigs who can guard for you, and you need a guard that can shoot and create, and you need another wing that can do other things. That's long and versatile.
And remember, Tyrese Thomas, he was the prototypical, at the time when he was drafted, the prototypical best fit big man for the NBA moving forward. That's the type of thing. LaMarcus Aldridge, shouts out to him and the retirement tour. Congratulations for being able to take your health as serious as you did right at this moment. I'm just happy that you did it before something bad happened, bro. That's me. But LaMarcus Aldridge, I mean, we're talking about a dude who played good part of 2 decades in the NBA, and he was one of those bigs. So, I mean, I think overall, here's the problem. Let me just put this out there. The problem is we can't find another Nikola Jokic. We can't find another Joel Embiid. We got to find guys that are serviceable, that can play their role in our systems. Stop trying to make people be 6'10" and they're not 6'10". Shouts out to Trav.
Yeah, that's right.
Stop trying to make people be stuff that they're not. Stop trying to name Brandon Ingram the next Kevin Durant. Let Brandon Ingram be in his own lane. That's not even a knock. It's just saying there's only one KD. There's only one Jordan. There's only one Kobe. They all have distinct things in their DNA and their genetics that separate them. Let them all be great at the same time. It's one Curry, it's one Dame, and it's one Kyrie. They all paint and they all do the same thing, but there's different little intricate details that make each one of them special. And you have to respect that about the game. So go ahead, Big Shot.
I think to your point, I think to both of your point, I think what you talk about, well, branding it back, is that teams have this. You make the point, you have to construct who is your best player. What is your best player? That's determined how you play. I think what you've seen teams do, unfortunately, is Golden State is the way. So we're going to try to combat what Golden State does, even though we don't have anything that Golden State does. Right?
This is what happens when you have business guys running your shit and nerds telling you how to play basketball. Go ahead.
Nerds trying to tell you how to do that. Our best player does. Look at the Rockets, right? Mm-hmm. Now the Rockets, it almost worked, but it didn't. The system didn't work, not because of James Harden. It didn't work because it didn't work because he stopped making jump shots. The Rockets didn't have enough shooters to do what they really wanted to do, which is why they never got past Golden State. It wasn't because they didn't have enough to do. They were trying to do stuff that Golden State was, shooting the basketball without having a great shooter. They had one all-time great score, but they didn't have enough shooters to run what they were trying to run, which is why it never worked.
And the one guy that would have told them, stop shooting that shit, get to the basket, had a hamstring injury.
Which is Chris Paul. The true point.
Well,
he would have stopped all that. Trust me. He would have saw them 4 miss. Hey, we ain't got it today. Hey, go here.
And like, and to your point, Jeremy, I know you've been on since the beginning of the year, even going back to last year. We look at what's happening with the Celtics right now. The Celtics are a team. As much as I like Kemba, he's a bad fit for that team. Not him as a player, but for that team. And the reason he's a bad fit is because the two young fellas just need somebody to get them the ball in position to score.
They need a curve.
They need someone to get them, because their development offensively
has exceeded whatever Kemba is.
I don't need Kemba's 22 points a game that he was getting in Charlotte. I don't need it now, because young fellas do that for me. So this is where you talk about how do you construct roster, and how do you do that? I think, MJ, to your point, we're talking about Jokic. I think that's going to be a really interesting how Denver continues to build that team, because a big fella with that much playmaking ability, what do you construct around it? When he is the point guard, like he's the point guard at 7 feet, 260. Like,
see the 2002 Sacramento Kings. Follow that blueprint. They just ran into Shaq and Kobe.
That might be it.
You know something, MJ? I like that perspective. I really do. Like, that was spot on. I like that. But you know, I'm gonna say something right now that Les is probably gonna be so mad. He gonna say something when I get.
There you go. So you can't help it.
No.
I'm messing with
Do you know who I think? Do you know who I think would be perfect for this type of team, low key, and he would be perfect? Brandon Ingram would be perfect to play off of somebody like Jokic.
Yeah, I mean,
an athletic wing player that you just want him to just the dribble handoff alone will help free him up from some of those defenders that aggravate and irritate him. And I think that would be a perfect fit for him to be able to roll around, get easier points. That'll simplify the game a lot for him, with him not having to be the quote unquote best guy on the wing.
You know what's so interesting, man? That you said Brandon Ingram, and it brings me back to the decision they made last summer. What was the decision they made last summer?
They let go of Jeremy Grant.
Yep. Now, to be fair to them, did I see Jeremy Grant 20 with whatever he's doing in Detroit? I don't watch Detroit Pistons basketball like that, but how about no? How about dude? Shout out him. But to me, he's the guy that if you had kept him, now whatever cap reasons you didn't, with this version of Jokic, Jeremy Grant would be perfect with them right now.
And here was the problem, though. They thought MPJ was going to be ready.
Was going to be back.
And that's just a gamble you have to take, because if they would have let go of MPJ and he would have went to Detroit, the same amount Jeremy would have averaged, it would be way more pandemonium than what we're getting from Jeremy and Plumlee averaging what they average.
That's fair.
It's you just roll the dice and hope you hit. That's really what it is.
And I'm with you. I mean, but at the same time, this is my thing with Mr. Econos. Shouts out to Trav, Mr. Blackish himself. I gotta be honest, man. I think altogether, man, this is the puzzle pieces that we try to put together as GMs, as junior GMs, as we'll call it here at 94 feet right now.
Make it into existence.
But I like the energy that comes from making these decisions. I don't care about. It's about what we can do to win.
Yes.
And if Jeremy Grant is a better two-way player right now, that's kind of what they're missing, is athleticism on the wing. That's not saying that MPJ is not athletic. That's not saying that that's what it is. That's just saying that more than anything, some of the defensive prowess that Jeremy Grant gave them last year, you can tell that they miss.
Yeah, and I think that's where these are such fine decisions and such.
It's tough.
It's tough because Jeremy Grant, obviously, he's doing what he's doing, but you're like, we look at Michael Porter Jr., you like, look, if he gets healthy, 6'10", puts it on the deck, he can shoot it. He's 19, 20 years old. That's 10 years of a foundational piece if we let it go, if we just keep it. And Jeremy Grant, good as he is, he might be in the way.
We got less
So
on camera.
We got.
Can we end the term two-way player?
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
basketball.
That is the prerequisite.
You have to do both. Like, I am tired. It has become like people that get paid millions of dollars to talk about the sport are using the term two-way player. There is no such. You play basketball. You have to play both ends. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go play offense and then, oh, I'm gonna sub out to go play defense. This is not football. Like, no. You play basketball. If you're a good defender, you're a good defender. Like, that two-way term is killing me right now. It ain't killing me right now. It's been killing me slowly.
It's been killing you because they are, whoever the powers that be are making these decisions want to make basketball into business as opposed to art. So they're like, okay, I'm going to have you just do this. I'm going to have you do just this. And then this two-way thing came about to describe a role player who can give you a jump shot and maybe create a little bit and defend. Well, it's like, no, he's just a hooper.
Yeah, like, he played basketball. He's a really good basketball player. He's a talented basketball player. Kawhi Leonard is a talented basketball player. He's not a two-way player. He's a talented basketball player. At the end of the day, like, this two-way stuff is just killing me. Because, like,
you know what's so funny about the two-way thing? And it's crazy how the two-way thing works, right? When you look at stuff like all NBA, like first team all defense or defensive player of the year, it never actually goes to the guy who is truly the best defender.
No.
You know who actually gets the nods on those awards? And I'm going to give it a little nod to our guys at the dish, our baseball guys. And Jared, you could probably talk about this. You ever notice the Golden Glove always go to somebody with really good hitting numbers? Dudes hitting 200 don't get to be the Golden Glove.
Tony Allen's never been defensive player of the year.
Thank you.
He'll be first team on defense, but he won't be defensive player of the year.
You watch when first team all defense number, watch how many dudes on that list average about 15, 20 points a game. A bunch of them. So to Lester's point, MJ's point, it's basketball players. It's literally basketball. Part of being a great basketball player is being a great defender. It's part of it.
That's why, you know, the great Michael Jordan is so revered, because he did it on both ends.
Jordans, Olajuwon.
Like, he was an overall basketball player. You know, that's been my gripe. I've been wanting to say something for some time. I just haven't had the right time to play it. But when Germ said it, it hit it like a trigger. And it wasn't because Germ said it.
Oh, okay.
It was not because Germ said it. It's just been the fact that I've been tired of hearing that term. And he just happened to say it. And, you know.
Yeah. Coach, I've been on many rants about that.
Yeah,
I'm not.
But you know what, though? This is what our society has become, is that we're giving credit for what you supposed to do. We give credit for what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to guard. That's your job as a basketball player. You're supposed to guard. So yeah, man,
But
Yeah,
then we don't.
sorry.
Then,
Went
no,
on.
no, you're on point with that. It's crazy how that we didn't we give credit for it, but then we don't fully reward it, right? So Tony Allen has never
So
won.
trigger words. Write
Tony,
this down.
yeah, trigger word. You write it down on the less trigger
This
word
guy.
sheet. Right two-way player down there.
Right,
Um,
Brandon Ingram too.
I am. It's already
Tony
written down.
Allen never won Defensive Player of the Year. Drew Holiday never
Yeah,
won.
he's
has never won Defensive Player.
Nah,
of the Year.
that's kind of
You know who never wanted to kind of piss me off, and I'm gonna go back to the '90s. Pippen never won it. That hurt
Pippen never won Defensive Player of the Year.
ever. Like, do people really know who Pippen had to guard? I've seen Pippen guard 1 through 5 legitimately.
Well, Pippen. Here's all you need to know about that award. Gary Payton was the last guard to win it. It was 1996.
Mm.
It's been 25 years since a guard won Defensive Player of the Year.
And 1996 was probably the best Gary Payton we had seen.
Right. You telling me in
So,
25
yeah.
years? You telling me in 25 years, there's not been another guard worthy of winning Defensive Player of the Year in 25
That's cap.
Yes. Big cat.
So, that's why I know Germ. I don't know if this is a trigger for Germ, but I know Germ hates any award talk whatsoever. Football,
That dumb-
basketball.
that dumb.
And I get it, but I get it.
Germ doesn't like award talk. Let me write
you write it
that
down.
Yeah.
Let me write
Germ-
that down.
The chess match between these guys. is
Since we writing stuff down,
Hey, you know what's funny? Here's the thing.
I got a pen too.
You need some sticky tabs?
Got it.
Yeah, okay, bet. Hey, so look, the reason
in
why I don't
office.
like award talks, I am too. See,
I
me
got
too.
it all. I got it all.
Now we gonna get into a desk conversation. All right, well, let me look at my desk now.
You got a board behind you?
No, I don't need the board. I don't need the board. It's in front of me.
I got two.
I got cool.
Yeah.
I got one in front of me. But no, dope.
This is
No, but
what we
seriously,
do.
I got a
This is
desktop
what
in front of me.
this is what me and MJ deal with.
I got a desktop. You got a desktop in front of you?
Yes, everything's here.
Got a MacBook? Got a
Yes,
MacBook too?
I'm on the MacBook.
What? Did you-
I
I'm
got
on
3
my
phones
phone.
here
I got-
too. 3 phones right here too.
Phone, desktop, MacBook, lemon water.
The lemon
Hey,
water.
Hey,
Shout out to the lemon water.
hey, I got the alkaline water.
Oh, y'all keep doing it.
No, it's just fun. No, it's just fun. Hey man, shout
So
out to
You
Big
got no
Crow.
gum. You don't have gum though. You got gum?
Y'all
You got gum?
I can't
Yep.
wait to the day y'all two actually meet in person. It's gonna
We're
be
all face to face.
funny.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the funniest, most
Oh.
loving moment in the history of the earth.
Hey, that's my guy. But the thing is too, like, why I love the fact that Les said that is because it's really, really important. Like I said, sometimes we say things naturally out of the fact that it's just a word or a term that we may use, but he's correct. We don't have to say a two-way player necessarily because I mean he is supposed to guard on both ends. So I don't look at that as a critique. What he said, I look at that as, hey, we gotta do this. We gotta do this right. So that's that. Thank you, coach, for real. But why I don't like award talk as well is because does KG win Defensive Player of the Year without Kendrick Perkins? Does he win it without Rajon Rondo? The answer is no. Those two people are instrumental in that success and in what he's allowed to do. If I win Defensive Player of the Year, as for example, Aaron Donald wins Defensive Player of the Year last year in football, can he do what he do if Troy Reader is not over here crashing down this end and containing the edge? Can he do what he's supposed to do if the defensive end over here doesn't do what he's supposed to do? It's still a team award. Just like same
Aaron
thing.
Donald, I think, yeah, he fight nice.
I mean, that's a ninja warrior, but
I mean, come on.
man.
Man.
But that's but that's the thing. Like, as incredible as the players are, we still gotta make sure that we do this thing with the team where we give them the understanding of what they are. And the teams, if you don't win Defensive Player of the Year, if you're not on a good defensive team, it's just not. It just don't happen.
Very true. Very
It
true.
takes a lot for that stuff to go. So that's why it's like, well, he won this. Well, Gary Payton had people behind him too, just in case somebody did beat him, because it was times that he got beat. The
Very
same
true.
thing goes for all that. If Donovan Mitchell and those guys in Utah don't funnel them into Big Dancing Bear, Rudy Gobert, does he win Defensive Player of the Year? Absolutely not.
Yeah, it all works together.
So that's why I don't like. That's why, just to throw this in there. That's why I don't like this Brooklyn talk, because they don't have the understanding of how they want to play defense yet. Because KD and AD are very similar in one thing: they both cover a lot of ground with them being 7 feet and skilled. Now, I'm not saying that KD is AD at defensively, because I think AD is another tier. But I still want to make sure that we give the understanding that what you get these big guys that cover these wings and are so gifted just with their length and their size and their athletic ability to really move side to side. It's so many factors and variables that go into it. It's just finding a way to utilize them the best in situations.
I'm so glad we got Coach Les on camera, because this leads perfect. This is perfect. I wish my boy Trav was on here, because this would be double the fun. So, but he's not. So, but this is perfect. I checked the standings because March Madness took me out the loop on the NBA. So I've been playing catch up for about 2 weeks. I checked it this morning, and lo and behold, I hope Les and I are still friends after this. He's probably gonna not talk to me for a couple days. It's cool. The Phoenix Suns are 1 game out of the first spot in the West. And on top of that, and I know this is where Les is really gonna probably hit not talk to me, because it's kind of it hits a nerve with him, because I know he don't like celebrating certain things.
Not my man got 40 assists and 1 turnover in like the last 5 games. Like
Who, Chris
last
Paul?
5 or 6 games.
That's
he on another level. I mean,
so let's start with Chris Paul. So
go ahead. Do you want to finish, because I got something?
no,
Because I've been looking too.
I'm serving this up on a plate for you. Go ahead.
Okay, so look, I said what I said and before the season started.
You did.
I am not surprised. I am not surprised at all. Like I said, it's not about Chris during the regular season. Never been about Chris in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see him take a team to the finals. That's it. I want to see him take a team to the finals.
Now, let me ask you something, Les, to that point, because we look at kind of how things are shaping up in the West. A banged-up Laker team. We don't know what the Lakers look like right now. They're going to be stuck at 5 unless something drastic happens. So the Lakers might be on the road the first round. I know Phoenix has not been talked about a lot, but we talked about what's happening with Chris Paul and how they got the team. Does Phoenix have a real shot at doing what you asked of Chris Paul, and that's getting out of West? Because to me, the way it's kind of shaping up, it might be right there.
I'll say this. They have an ultimate leader over there on the sidelines.
Yeah.
A guy that like is really about what he says. On that aspect, I could see it happening on from that perspective.
He's talking about awards. That's
coach of the year.
He's my coach of the year.
Yeah, Monty Williams
he's coach of the year.
If it's not Monty, then I'll give it to Quinn. If not Quinn, even give it to Doc. I mean, Steve Nash as well, because all the stuff that's went on in Brooklyn and for them to be in second place.
Literally one game behind Philadelphia.
Yeah.
For all
And
that.
so, and to be honest with you, I think the Phoenix Suns, I mean, Chris Paul, you know, like I said, regular season, he's led some of the best teams, best Western Conference teams. I mean, the Clippers. I mean, come on, man. Like, he put them relevancy. The Hornets when they was in OKC and in New Orleans. I mean, so, you know, it's never that. I just want to see him get to the finals. Because, like, when we talk about point guards, we talk about point guards, and that's the captain, that's the leader, that's who rides the ship. And, like, a lot of times, and they're like the quarterback, so to speak. And that's why a lot of the, you know, quarterbacks, they don't get a lot of love because, oh, he ain't win that. Aaron Rodgers always under fire because he got one Super Bowl. Peyton Manning got there 4 times, went 2-2, but he's not that. You know, Brady's the GOAT because he's won 7. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
we don't look at point guards the same way. You know,
Yeah.
we look at point guards differently about. Well, I'm like, nah, the point guard is the quarterback. He's an extension of the coach.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think. I think
I think, you know, as much, we kind of mess with you about it, but I don't think it's unfair.
Well, that's my only thing. It's like, because I watch Isaiah. I grew up watching Isaiah Thomas, and I watched him take the Pistons in a battle against the Lakers. Like, I watched them go and they beat the Trailblazers. Like, they went in the finals with the Lakers and had no business in there. You know, like they beat the 80 Celtics. Like, that's, you know, they went toe to toe with some of the best in the West. Like, and Isaiah Thomas led them there and they won. Magic Johnson won. Jay Kidd. That Nets team had no business being in the finals.
No.
Let alone making back-to-back trips.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's 40 years old and take down the Heatles with the Mavericks. Like, that's the thing about Jay Kidd, why he's so revered, because he took teams that weren't supposed to be there. I mean, this might be Chris Paul's Jay Kidd next year, right now.
Yeah.
This really could happen. He gets to the finals, I'll lay off of him. I just, like, I've never talked about Steve Nash in point guard discussions. He's won 2 MVPs.
Right.
And I won't. And I'm not taking anything away from Steve Nash. He's one of the, but I'm like, when I look at point guards, I'm looking at,
you have to be able to separate. There's something that has to separate.
Yeah, I'm like,
separate people. Yeah.
What Steve Nash ain't no different than Maurice Cheeks. You know?
Shout out Cheeks though.
Maurice Cheeks a champion too.
Yeah.
You know? That's a separator. Like, to me, when this comes to that point guard position, leading. Like, that's why I got so much respect for Rondo, because Rondo figured out as a young point guard how to get those 3 all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
He figured it out. You know, like, no.
Hey, and you talk about Rondo. I just think the streets, but the basketball streets, need Rondo versus Paul one more time.
Yeah. This might be the last time we can see it.
It might be the last. Exactly. So West semifinals, give me Phoenix and the Clippers, because I think
that'd be raw fun.
It would be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Rondo, Paul versus old team. There's a lot to like there, man. So I'm with you, Les. So I asked that question because I know behind the scene we have our fun with, you know, because Les and Germ are very similar in this way. How Les feels about point guards is how Germ feels about quarterbacks. They're very particular. Like, you just can't have any old body playing a position for them, and they're gonna rock with it. Very particular in their taste of point guards and quarterbacks. So that's the one. So now the other guy, and this is gonna be short because I want to end on a good note. I'm all about it's my birthday weekend, positive energy. So I'm gonna
Yes,
ask.
sir.
I'm gonna ask less about this guy. I got a feeling what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask Skip it. The Washington Wizards were terrible, awful for about 2 months. I checked my standings somehow, some way. They are in, and Jerm, you can check this for me if you want. They are either in the 10th spot in the East or right outside of the 10th spot. Now, this is obviously nothing
Lord.
to be celebrated. So I'm not celebrating the fact that they are in 10th. But MJ, I want you to come off. Oh, MJ left.
We are
Come off mute. Do we have to at least give Russell a little bit of credit? A tiny bit. Not for them being 10th, but for the fact that he's kind of pulled them out along with some help from Bradley Beal. That he's kind of drugged them out of this terrible spot to not so terrible with the shot to get in the playoffs.
Okay, so first, real quick, they're 12th.
Okay.
They
How
are
far-
one game. They're one game back. They're the Bulls are 22-32. They're 21-33.
Jeremy's Jeremy about to make me look bad. 'Cause I know this is not. I just have to ask, man. I just want to ask. Les. Don't hold your head. I know you're getting a headache. Don't hold your head. Don't. No.
Okay. All right. Okay. I know this play-in that they have, like it's soccer or
We're gonna talk about the play after you finish.
elementary
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
basketball tournament, 6th grade, Catholic League or whatever they do.
Catholic League.
It's hard. It is very hard to praise a team. I'm not even gonna go Westbrook, but it's hard to praise a team for almost getting to a spot that you would never originally be in the first place.
That's true.
My NBA was top 8 teams. This new NBA is second chance. You know what? If you're top 10, okay, we're gonna spice it up. We're gonna make it exciting. No, handle your business in the regular season, do the work, get top 8, and if you 9 through 15, go home, go to the beach. Clearly, go where Myron's background is at. You got the money, you got the funds. Hasta la vista. But now we praising play-in teams. We praising 12th place. We I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'll feel you. You know what? Okay.
You know what's funny? I don't even got to answer it. This is hilarious.
Everything you said is so correct. So I apologize for you.
No. Don't apologize for asking.
No.
It's not
Right.
that.
It's not you, but I am not going to celebrate mediocrity. I'm sorry.
Hey, I kind of see. This is the part that I hate is that I agree with him.
I actually, you know what? When Luka made Mark Cuban have obviously not favoring the play-in, and at first I was like, "Oh man, y'all being sick, whatever." But then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, "You know what? I'm kind of with that. I'm with the whole." I get the point of the play-in was really to stop teams from tanking.
Yeah.
Like that was the entire point for y'all to stop tanking. But MJ, Jeremy, what's y'all opinions on this, man? I'm kind of cool on him. Like, I tell y'all, I don't watch the first four during the NCAA tournament. That might be my approach on the play. I don't know if I really be feeling it. Jeremy, and MJ, what y'all think?
Go ahead, John.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was just a one-time thing. That's just like the seventh team now in the NFL. Now we gonna get another team. Like, I don't understand why we keep adding to all of the stuff that's going on. It's almost like y'all saying, "Please give me more money, please." I just
Exactly what they're saying.
Because
Exactly.
participation awards have skyrocketed. That's why. Thanks for playing.
Listen,
It's like,
I don't
I need to
want.
learn how to make participation trophies. This is my stock will go crazy.
Hey, Jeremy, you know what though? I'm with you too. I thought, last year, pandemic, it's a completely different season. Okay, cool. All right, fine. But the more I think about it, I don't really.
I mean, let me just say, let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm straightforward with this. I don't give a sam blim blam what you got going on during the season. Take care of your business at the beginning, so you ain't got to take care of it later. That's what shouts out to Trav. If we want to do this, we're gonna do it the right way. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If the Warriors don't make number 8, they shouldn't be in the playoffs. As much as we want to see Steph, if they don't make 8, they don't participate. You see how we did that? See how we do it? No, I'm talking about.
Bars.
That's a bar.
levels.
MJ, what you think, man?
Levels. Took him a while, but he got it.
I mean, I feel the same way. It's just with me, it's like I just look at it like I know what this is, and I know the why behind it because people are trying to make more money.
Right.
They're trying to make more bread. Like, who doesn't want to, like, at least take a glimpse, unless us basketball purists. Let's take the basketball purists out of this. What person, if on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m., happened to see the Bulls fighting to the death against the Boston Celtics, and the Bulls got to win 2 games, a couple people going to stop at that channel. We only need a few million to make our bread. And we got hit by a pandemic last year. We trying to get as much motherfucking money as possible. So from a hustler standpoint, I put to them. They figured out a way to try to get some of that kickback. From a pure standpoint, absolutely not. That's just where I'm at with it.
Some things are worth more than money.
I mean, if you even look at the standings right now, right? Memphis is still in the 8th spot yet again, going down the stretch. They are 27-26, 1 game above 500. The Warriors, with Steph in and out of the lineup, with all the things that they've done, James Wiseman in and out of the lineup, are 500 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that the Warriors, let's just say fast forward 5 weeks from now, this is something similar that happens. You mean to tell me that the Grizzlies shouldn't be able to get the 8th spot? Like they didn't work for that 8th spot? You didn't fended them off all of this time. And now I still gotta play Steph Curry? Still gotta play him?
And to me, Jeremy, that's kind of what my thinking is too. It's like over 72 games. If I'm better than you for 72 games, why we gotta do this again?
So you could be better somebody for 2 games.
So you could be better for me for 1 weekend.
You know what they should do? You know what they should do? They should just make it like March Madness. 1 game tournament, the whole playoffs. That's it. Let everybody in the NBA play. Everybody in the playoffs is one big tournament. You get, you just do that. Get the little quadrants. Make it like March Madness. 1 and done. That's it. Come on, let's just do it that way. Since we want excitement.
That'll be the most annoying tournament ever.
The regular season will be annoying as hell because everybody will just go to sleep through it until it's time for the.
Hey, when the 16 seed Cavaliers beat the 1 seed 76ers, everybody would be upset.
That's not happening. The Cavs suck.
I'm just being. It's just a. You know what? I'm taking
Just
a
don't
drink
bring
over
up-
here.
Just don't.
Taking a
Just,
drink
you know
over
what?
here.
You need to. Hey, you know what, fellas? I enjoyed my time, but I got to get back.
All right, boy.
Peace. Everybody
Appreciate you
be
left
cool.
stopping in. That was fun.
Hey, everybody be cool. Even Germ.
Everybody.
I'm already cooler than you.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
but no. I love the fact that you asked that question, Big Shot. That wasn't a bad question.
So
It
I
was
think the
just more or
question
less-
was more like
One game
Something-
out is not a bad thing though, because we don't know what the Bulls are.
yeah, and Zach LaVine going into COVID protocol probably for at least 2 weeks
Good timing.
changes that whole
Yep.
dynamic. So
Yupper. What's for
it's gonna be
supper?
interesting, man. So listen, so fellas, we're gonna wrap this up. 4 weeks left in the season as of Sunday. What are y'all looking at? Either from as a playoff seed or something to kind of just kind of keep an eye on. I'm gonna tell you the one I'm keeping, where I'm kind of keeping an eye on is I thought originally is so what I'm looking for is can Embiid or Harden come back in time to get back in the MVP race? Because I think, unfortunately for both of them, I think the injuries hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what I'm reading, I think the groundswell is here for Jokic to win this. And I think Harden and MVP both were clear of him 3 weeks ago. And now, can they get back into the race in the last 4 weeks? That's what I'm kind of keeping my eye on.
MJ, you want me to go real quick?
Please.
Okay. I think they can. Specifically hard. Because all Brooklyn got to do is go on a 9 or 10 stretch, and he's right back there again.
Mm-hmm.
Because a 9 or 10 stretch will put them as the number 1 seed, and they'll challenge for the number 1 overall seed in the NBA.
Facts.
Utah, the only thing that I'm going to say is Utah finished as the number 1 overall seed with the injuries to Harden and Embiid. This about to hurt. Give me Young Spider as MVP. I've seen an improvement this year and a leap.
Spider. Huh.
Spider is the dark horse.
I'm going to tell y'all that why I say Spider.
No,
This
no,
is
I'm
the
listening.
year.
This is good stuff.
This is the year that I've seen the jump. I've seen some of the small guard, and I say small guard for a reason because he is under 6'4", under 6'3". I've seen him be able to utilize the small guard aspect of this in matchups that he needed to, but then I've also seen him put it on bigger guards.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him score a little bit easier. Now, mind you, it hasn't been a lot easier, but it has been easier, meaning I see he's in the lab working. I think it's time that we give a guy like that an MVP nod, because not only is it good for the league, it's good for a small market team like that to show if we come and we show up and we play our best player, the guy who is going to win us more games than lose us games, is in the MVP conversation, as long as we have such situations like this. They finished number 1 overall. I think Spider should be MVP over Jokic, and only because of what I said.
And to me, Jerm, before we go to MJ, look at it. How many times, rightly or wrongly, I'm not saying it's wrong, best player on the best team. So, and not only, Jerm, he has the numbers. He's got the numbers. They have the record. I don't know what, I'm not the betting man. But if you can find decent odds, my Digger Phelps highlighted, if you can find decent odds on Donovan Mitchell for MVP today, you might want to put a few spare dollars on. it's not the worst thing out. It's not the worst shout in the world. Just saying.
All right. So I actually like that outside the box thinking, John, but I will have to respectfully disagree with you only because my MVP has always been a mesh between both. It was it's a mesh between best player on best team with respect to the load that needs to be carried, with respect to the things that they have accomplished throughout the year, with also respect to where would this team be without them. Utah is a well-oiled machine. You take Donovan Mitchell out, they put Jordan Clarkson right in there, and they still gonna win about 55 games. You take Jokic off that Denver team, ugly. So for that, and the fact that Jokic played this whole season, shouts out to guys who are not using their athleticism and is able to stay on the floor. Availability, best availability is availability. I think he deserves it. And it's not like he's not putting up ridiculous numbers. He had a couple of games in which he shot perfect from the field and had a triple-double.
I'm with you. Again.
No, that's what I say. I respect.
I like the take because I wouldn't be mad if Joker won. I wouldn't be mad at all. You see what I'm saying? Like it would be something that I would congratulate him. But when we talking about it, I'm just saying overall, who thought Utah would be where they are today?
Yeah.
And a big testament at it is it's Donovan, you know. So with that being said, I don't think either win personally. I'm just gonna tell you I know who I'm gonna think I'm putting in now. James Harden is the best player in the NBA this year.
You know what's funny?
I don't hold on one second, Jay. Let me just speak to the viewers. I don't give a sam, blim, blam, peanut butter jelly. I'm ready to jam. That man, James Harden, been the best player in the NBA this year. The best. One, numero uno, by a margin. You see this margin? See how you can't see the other part? Because it's been that gap. He's the captain. Get back healthy, get on the floor, 9 or 10, reclaim your MVP with KD and Kyrie on your roster, and then go get your ring. Period. Go ahead, MJ. Sorry, I just had to get that out there.
It's just so funny how, like, not you in per se, but it's just so funny how a person's perspective can change when they're surrounded by players that are just as good as them. It's so much. It's so hilarious how a perspective of a person changes when you give them the things that they need.
Yeah,
it's hilarious to me. Actually, it's comical because for the last 11 years we've been saying this man don't know how to win it. We've been saying this man don't play defense. We've been saying this man is not a winner, despite the fact that he has never not made it to the playoffs. We have trashed this dude for his off the court activities. But he has been the best. I would say he's been the best shooting guard in the league since Kobe left.
Yeah, but
like it's him and everybody. I love Bill. I said Bill, like skill-wise comparison, is just as good. But from a production standpoint, Harden has did what Bill's just not started to do for the last 2 years. He did it for 10.
Keep going,
and
MJ.
Different coaches too, so we can't blame D'Antoni. My man. Can't blame D'Antoni because he did it with Bickerstaff. He did it with Mikal. He's doing it now with Nash. Like at some point, you got to look at the common denominator.
He gets buckets. He does everything on the floor. The defensive narrative, let's cut it out. This man is in timeouts telling people, hey, how to close space. I'm watching. Shout out to Vola, kid. They give us the timeouts. I'm watching. He telling Tyler Johnson, corral, dude it, bruh. James Harden, dude. I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to be that dude that give a hot take. James Harden has been that dude this season. They have walked folks down. just on the strength of them just hooping and him just having everybody feel like they're in place. Soon as he came to that team felt different. As good as Karis LeVert is as a player, and we all respect him, James Harden did a whole different thing to that team. That put everybody into their natural role. KD, come off the pin down. Kyrie, you handle the ball.
Breaking news.
A couple
Breaking
of
news.
seconds. Go ahead.
Donovan Mitchell just got carted off with an injury. Thank you, Nick Barkley, for letting me know that.
Man,
I know.
I hate that.
Shouts out to Nick Barkley. Like I said, next man up, Joker.
I hate the injuries part. Can we turn the injuries
I
off?
can't stand it. I mean, it's sad.
really, man. If this is 2K, whoever controls the settings, man, take the
injuries off. That's the only thing that be hurting these folks. And I look, man, like I said, man, that just as we get ready to wrap up the show, I just want to say that because I got to give that man some love, especially after all of the slander he took at the beginning of the year, y'all.
Yeah.
James got to get some love and some respect because he is the reason why the Nets are going to win the championship. He is the reason because there is nothing you can do with an efficient, focused, engaged James Harden with those two weapons. But Kyrie is giving you 40 a game when he want to. KD ain't even played enough games for us to even understand the amount of open shots off of pin downs he is about to get. And Dirty Joe out here, Econo spray paint. Shouts out to my guy, Trav. It's emotions.
So we're gonna be back next week, as always, 94 Feet of Life. Remember, check us out on Twitter, 94 Feet of Life, the number 1 at the end, 94FTOFLIFE, 94 Feet of Life. Take off the 2 E's on Instagram. Scene Facebook fan page, the YouTube, the Scene. We will, of course, post this show, repost it again and again, because that's what we do. Y'all gonna love it. So we're gonna make sure that you see it. Shout out MJ, shout out Germ, Ham and Trav, we back with us on the next time, man. Friday fun. Shout out Coach Les for dropping in. 94 Feet of Life, basketball for the people, by the people. We out of here.